Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to welcome you to Owensboro High School. I know you've been here for a couple of days, getting used to a routine, finding your classes, and I hope that's been a pleasant experience for you. Our goal at Owensboro High School is for you to have a wonderful, positive experience. High school should be fun, but there's also lots of opportunities for you to be sure to take advantage of. One is your academics. One of the things that you'll hear us speak about with you many times is the college and career readiness benchmarks. Those benchmarks are crucial to what you can do when you get out of high school and move on to college. So we'll talk to you about your reading score on the plan and the ACT. We'll talk to you about your math. We'll talk to you about your English or grammar. We'll talk to you about your science. And then we'll also talk to you about end-of-course exams. And that involves all the content areas, including English, math, science, and social studies. So those things become very important to you as you reach high school. So please take advantage of your academic opportunities. There are also lots of extracurricular opportunities for you. There are clubs, there are teams, there are all kinds of drama and things for you to do. So please get involved, take advantage of the opportunities that are going to be offered to you. So with that being said, we want you to have a very positive year, and we'll do anything we can to help you. That's why we're here. I always do better if I know what's expected of me, so we're going to spend just a few minutes today talking about the expectations of Owensboro High School students. We want to make sure you're successful, and if you know ahead of time of what those expectations are, then I think we can help you do that. Owensboro High School is one of the oldest high schools in the state of Kentucky. We were established in 1871. There are only 4 high schools in the state of Kentucky that's been accredited for over 100 years, and we're one of those 4. So we're very proud of our heritage. At Owensboro High School, there's just a few rules that we expect you to abide by. And the major thing is just be respectful. Be respectful of your peers, be respectful of your teachers, be respectful of all the staff, and in return, we want and we'll ensure that everyone's respectful of you. ID badges are a little bit different this year, so I need everyone to pay very close attention to me, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. We're going to do something different with ID badges. You won't have to have your ID badge in the cafeteria as you have in the past, but you will have to have your ID badge to do several other things. So pay attention to this. To be able to leave the cafeteria in the mornings to go check out, to go to different places, that will require an ID badge. If you would like to if you want to check out a class to do something, it's going to require your ID badge. So the ID badges you don't have to have at lunch, but you will have to have for other things that you all really like to do. So make sure you just have it on you at all times. And to help you with that, because some of you have lost yours, or seniors, that picture you had made in the 9th grade might be getting a little old, we're going to make everyone a free ID at the beginning of the year, so you'll have a fresh new ID. We've ordered lanyards for you. You'll have a lanyard if you want to use it, and but you're going to need to keep your ID on you at all times. So just to do lots of simple little things, you'll need your ID, but you will not need it in the cafeteria. Students, if you would like a locker, they are available to you. Many students today, with their laptops and all the things that they have access to online, don't get lockers like they did in the past, but we have lockers for you. The thing that I will caution you about, if you obtain a locker, whatever's in that locker is yours. So do not give out your combination. Don't let people store their things in your locker, because what happens is if something's in that locker, doesn't matter if it's yours or somebody else's, if it's in your locker, it's yours. So please make sure that you don't allow people to store things in your locker and you don't give out your locker combination. The school day is from 8:25 to 3:20. We really expect you to be here from 8:25 to 3:20. Please try your best to make any of your appointments prior to 8:25 and after 3:20. And I know that's difficult, but anything that you're going to need to check out to do, please try your best to get those appointments early and late. When you get into the building in the morning, you need to come in down by the new gym. The entrance down there is open to the back facing McCreary. You can come in, you can go in the cafeteria and eat breakfast, and I would encourage you to do so. Or you can go up to the second tier of the new gym and sit with your friends or do homework. And if you have an ID, then you can check out to go to the library and to do some different things. That's where that ID is really going to become handy. At 8:15, a bell will ring, and everybody will be free to leave those areas and go to their classes. And then classes will start at 8:25. After we start school at 8:25, the only door that's open in the school is the front door that faces Frederica Street, just the main doors. All the other doors are locked. So if you come into school late, you're going to need to come to the front door to come in. Once you arrive on school campus, I need you to listen carefully to me. Once you get to school campus and you are there on school property, then you can't leave without your parents checking you out, or it's the end of the day at 3:20. So we've had an issue with that. I rode my bike to school and then I decided to leave and go to Dairy Queen to get breakfast. You can't do that. That's skipping, and that will invite an AP placement or a placement in our in-house suspension room. So, once you arrive, whether you rode the bus, rode a bicycle, drove your car, once you got on campus, then you can't leave. In the cafeteria, we do expect you to behave like young adults. And most of the time that's not an issue. Our students are very well behaved, but every once in a while we'll have some students that become very immature and do some things that they should not do. If you decide to do those things, you may end up cleaning the cafeteria or doing some other things. So let's just behave like young adults and like you know how to behave. Tobacco is not allowed on our campus. Most schools or federal buildings or buildings built with federal dollars. Possession of tobacco is not allowed, so no tobacco. And there are several consequences for that, and that includes electronic cigarettes. So if you want to follow along with me, I'm on page 5 of your agenda book. Cell phones. We have a pretty lenient cell phone policy. We'd like to keep it that way. You may have your cell phone out and use it until the bell rings at 8:25. At lunch, when you get in the cafeteria, not before, you may use it in the cafeteria, and you may use it in the cafeteria all during lunch, but you need to put it away before you walk out of the cafeteria to go back to class. And then at 3:20, as soon as the bell rings, you're free to get your phones out and do what you need to do with them. There are some consequences for cell phone usage. I don't understand why we would be doing that because you can use your phones before class or before school begins at 8:25. You can at lunch and you can at the end of the day. If you have an emergency, then you're certainly welcome to tell your teacher you have an emergency and then come down and see an administrator if that teacher allows you to check out of class. Once you get to school, if you're there on time, and we expect you to be there on time, then you go directly to class at 8:25 when that bell rings. If you are late to school, then you must sign in the front office. We normally have a tardy table. We'll let you know where that's going to be. Or if you've had to have an appointment prior to school and it's run late, then you'll need to come in the front door and sign in there. Anytime you need to check out of school, Your parents or guardian will need to come check you out. And if you're a driver and you want your parents to call to check you out, we do allow that with notes and calls, but that is to be done 24 hours in advance. And students, I really need you to listen to me on this. When you walk in and 10 minutes from now you need to be at a doctor's appointment, we don't have time sometimes to stop everything we're doing and call a parent or look to see if we have a message from a parent. So I need you to do that ahead of time. Be sure to bring your notes in 24 hours in advance too, and then that gives us plenty of time to call and verify, and we do call and verify that your parents really do want you to check out and go to a doctor or a dentist appointment, and etc. You have access to a laptop just like you have for the past few years. Please take care of that tool, that machine, and take care of using it properly. Anything you do on that machine becomes the school's business, even if you're doing it at home, whether you're doing it in class, because the machine actually belongs to the school district. So please make sure you use it properly. I would hate for you to lose that privilege. There are some things that will cause you to lose your privilege of attending Owensboro High School, and I need you to listen very, very carefully to me. If you are harassing another student or bullying another student, if you choose to do those two things, then I can assure you that you are putting your attendance at Owensboro High School in jeopardy. It is not tolerated. It will not be tolerated. We do press charges. We have made arrests, and we have moved students to alternative schools for doing that. It is something that we just will not tolerate. If you are representing Owensboro High School on a team, in a club, in drama, choir, band, if you are representing Owensboro High School in an extracurricular activity, then that is a privilege. And we do ask our students that represent us, or we hold them, I guess I should say, to a higher standard of behavior. And I'm not going to apologize for that. You're representing a lot of people and lots of generations of people. Owensboro High School is one of the oldest schools in the state. Many people attended Owensboro High School many, many years ago. And whether you realize it or not, when you go out to play a ball game in that uniform, or if you get on that stage to perform, you're representing all those people, along with your current school, with your family, and you. So we take that very seriously. If you decide that you don't want to behave up to that standard of behavior, then there's a Code of Ethics committee that will meet and decide whether you can continue to participate in those extracurriculars. If you choose to violate school rules, and we have very few students that do, but if you do, there's a hierarchy of things that happen depending on the event or what the action is. We do work closely with parents. We do have an in-house suspension room. We do suspend outside of school. We do suspend to hearings, and we do expel. We do move students to other placements. We do make arrests. So please don't get yourself involved in those things. Be respectful of your peers and the staff members, and take advantage of the opportunities offered to you. If you move over to page 12, we have some policies that you probably need to be very familiar with on drugs and alcohol. In the past several years, we've had very few incidents with drugs and alcohol, but every once in a while we do. This is another one of those incidents where I talked to you about bringing or being harassing or bullying people, where you could lose your privilege of attending Owensboro High School. And if you choose to bring alcohol or drugs to Owensboro High School, you will lose your privilege of attending Owensboro High School. If you come to school under the influence of those drugs or alcohol, you will lose your privilege of attending Owensboro High School. And so we're not going to have that here. You will be arrested, there will be charges, and we will find another place for you to go to school. So we do have the drug dogs come in on a pretty regular basis. Remember that if your cars are parked on our property, things in your locker, things in your backpack, all those things are suspect to search. So please, please, please don't choose to do those things. And if you do choose to do those things, please be safe, but don't bring them to school if you want to continue being a student at Owensboro High School. Prescription medications. Some of us are on prescription meds all the time, and then others have to take them occasionally, so antibiotics and things like that. But anytime you're on a prescription med, you cannot have that in your backpack or on your person. You will need to bring that to the school nurse first thing when you arrive in the morning, and we'll help you with that. If the school nurse is not there yet, sometimes we have parents bring that in early. And actually, I think parents are supposed to bring it in anyway. The parents are supposed to bring it in and give it to the school nurse. But we help with that. I help all the time with that. So tell your parents to help you bring in your medicine and bring it to the school nurse, bring it to the office, and we'll help you get that taken care of. The dress standards are a little bit different this year. I do need you to listen very, very carefully to this. We had a committee of students and teachers who worked on the dress code last year, and it's much more lenient this year. But it will be lenient as long as you respect and make sure you make good decisions about what you're going to wear, to school. Now, with that being said, I can tell you, as lenient as it is, it will be enforced and enforced tightly. So please be sure to read that. It's on page 13, and because we won't be taking that lightly. I hope you take advantage of the nice freedoms that you've been given and make good decisions. Student parking, you will be able to get a parking pass. Our resource officer, Officer Latanzio, will be issuing those parking passes. You have to have proof of your insurance. There's some documents that your parents have to complete for you, but we can get you parking passes and you can park. We have a very large lot now, which is really nice, and you can park close to relatively close to the school, a lot closer than you will when you get to college. On page 15, I need you to look closely at the tardy policy. It's much more strict this year, so you need to pay very close attention to that. After 3 unexcused tardies, you will have a referral to the office, and your parents will be contacted for a phone conference, and the student will be made aware of the consequences. If you get 8 or more unexcused tardies, you will have detentions. There's not an option. And you will be serving AP time. So you need to look at that very closely. You also need to look at what privileges you can lose if you have 12 or more unexcused tardies. And that we didn't take care of that like we should have last year. We had some sick folks in the office and things happened and we didn't keep up with it like we should have, but we will be this year. So if you want to go to prom and you want to go to the senior picnic and those kinds of things, if I were you, I'd get to school on time. Absences. Mr. Poole would be absent, working closely with our absences. Students, you can't get out of school what you would really like to get out of school without coming. And teachers, we really need to make sure that if it's an unexcused absence, it's 50% credit. And please, students, come to school. If some of you went to work like you come to school, you would lose your job. So please, please come to school and pay attention to these policies so you don't get caught up in losing your driver's license and some things like that. If you are out, if it's an absence and it's unexcused, it is 50% credit. We are going to ask our teachers to hold to that this year. And so any kind of makeup work, you're responsible for getting with your teachers and getting that work, because those zeros and those 50% will add up very quickly. Final exams, no tests will be given early, and everything's 15% on the final exams except for the end of course exams, and those are 18%, and those will be moving up to 20%, I believe, next year. The only other thing I've not spoken about is weapons. If you choose to bring a weapon to class, or to school, if you bring it in your car or vehicle, if you bring it in your backpack, and we pray that'll never happen at Owensboro High School, but you will have lost your privilege of attending Owensboro High School. So please don't make those kinds of decisions. Again, we want you to have a great year at Owensboro High School. We want you to enjoy all the opportunities that you are being afforded. And again, I do better when I know what's expected of me, and I think you will too. So please, I hope you've paid attention to me. Please look through your agenda book online. You have access to it all the time, and make sure you're very, very familiar with the expectations, procedures, rules of our school. We are here to help you, and we'll do what we can to help you be successful and support you in anything that you're trying to do. So have a great year. If you need us in the front office, please be happy to say hello, come by and check on us, but also take advantage of the classwork and all those extracurriculars that you have an opportunity to be a part of. Thank you so much.